a solo for with Jonathan Mast, the legend, man, the myth, the legend.
You're too kind, Tom.
And so, Jonathan, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do. And I think William in our private chat here already asked the first question, but we'll get to that in just a minute.
Not a problem. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. As you said, my name is Jonathan. I run an agency called Whitebeard Strategies, and we really focus on a couple things. By the way, no idea where the name came from. Don't know where that came developed. But I do AI coaching and consulting where I help businesses and organizations figure out how to leverage AI to really do three things: save time, make more money, and deliver more value to their clients. But the key part is doing all that at the same time. And at the end of the day, I'm really into AI prompting. And I believe that if we learn how to communicate with AI, we learn how to talk to it, that it can be an amazing tool to amplify our skill and our experience. And it can really be that, not necessarily that magic wand, but it can definitely be that rocket fuel that propels us forward and allows us, especially as small businesses, to be nimble and to really kick the big guys in the butt.
Yes. So you mentioned prompt engineering, and I've seen you have a Facebook group out there, and I don't remember the name of it. I'm in it a lot. I just don't remember the name of it top of my head here. But you give instructions on AI prompts and for Claude, Midjourney, ChatGPT, all these different LLMs, and it has been absolutely phenomenal. So William posted in our private chat, I wonder if AI can give me a beard. I don't look great with the beard. William's saying,
you give Tom a beard. Yeah.
Listen, Jonathan, I shaved this morning. Okay, Tom shaved 4 years ago, and I still got.
That's fair. That's fair. But if you were to generate a prompt, write a prompt, how would you go about writing a prompt that would give somebody a beard if you were to upload a picture of them?
Well, first of all, knowing that it's AI, I wouldn't necessarily expect it to work perfectly. AI and specificity often don't come together well. But apart from that, I'd use pretty much 4 simple steps. I'd start by telling it, and in this case, I'd probably go to ChatGPT or Claude to give me the prompt that I'd then use in Midjourney, just because it'd probably give me more information. And I'd say, you're an expert at creating prompts for graphic image tools. And I need to take a picture of Tom, who is clean shaven, and give him an epic beard so that he can be part of this 3-person panel that we're on. Please review the uploaded photo, because I'd have to upload your photo, and make sure to give Tom the most epic beard possible. And I would probably do reference, I try to think of, ZZ Top or something like that, and model his beard after that.
Wow. And that is right now. Do you see the prompt engineering changing as AI gets smarter?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the really cool things now is, I'll admit, I probably only write about half my prompts. I let AI write the other half. I have a framework that I follow, but AI is getting so good now that if and I've trained a model that I use just to say, I call it my perfect prompting framework. Use my perfect prompting framework and create me an optimized prompt to achieve this objective. And I share whatever that objective is. And AI now will write that prompt generally far faster than I can do it on my own, and often better than I can do it on my own. So I would say, even right now, probably 50% of the prompts that I write, ChatGPT or Claude are writing them for me.
So,
Tom, you know how I commandeered this panel? Jonathan, I actually have a really good question, and I'm sorry, Tom, I took this from you.
Go for it.
But I really want to. Can I dive into that with you? Like, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as somebody that tries to understand, like we're constantly getting plagued, like LinkedIn, Facebook, with like little images that says like, here's how you set up your prompts. How would you recommend somebody set up a prompt? I don't think I can spell the word prompt. So
fair enough.
Like how would you, if somebody's starting to use Claude or ChatGPT, how would you advise somebody to where do you start? You use AI for yours, but you didn't always do that. What would you say?
No, it's a great question. My first advice is every email, every direct message you get, every ad that you see to buy a list of prompts, don't do it. Plain and simple. Just don't do it. I've bought tons of them. Tom mentioned I've got a group. We've got 125,000 people in it. I buy lists all the time to see if I can find a good one. I have yet to find a good list of prompts that was worth the time and money that I put into it. So what I recommend real clearly, William, is just that they take and they learn a prompt framework. The one I recommend is 4 simple steps. You start by telling the AI how it's supposed to act. We've got to remember that AI, it's this vast library of information that's far vaster than we can even imagine. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when encyclopedias fit on a table. It doesn't happen anymore. Far more data than that. So we need to give it some context, tell it how it's supposed to act. So that might be act as a copywriter, act as an expert social media writer, act as an HR professional, act as an expert attorney. Who knows what we want. Then part 2 is we need to give it some background, because William, you and I just met literally now, probably 3 minutes ago. And if you and I were collaborating on a project and I walked up to you and just said, hey, William, do this for me, and I gave you no context, you'd rightfully look at me like I'm an idiot. Like, how am I supposed to know what to do? But we assume with AI that it can read our minds, and it can't. So step 2 is we have to give it some context. Step 3, this is what most people consider their prompt. That's our question, whatever it is we want it to do. And then step 4, and this is the part that I think most people miss. Tom's heard me say this already, but before we're done, we need to give ChatGPT permission to ask us clarifying questions. And the reason that's so important is that AI has been programmed to make assumptions, because the developers were smart. They want us to use their software, and they know that if it acts like a 3-year-old and goes, why, we're going to stop using the app. That's not what they want.
Correct.
So they wanted to make assumptions. The problem is when it makes assumptions, and I know what happens when we make assumption. It makes a what out of you and me. And that same thing happens with AI. So the prompt framework is really simple. How is ChatGPT supposed to act? What's the relevant background information for my question? What is my question? And ask me any clarifying questions you need. And that last part's critical, because a lot of times I know, at least for myself, I don't know what information I should give it in order to get the best possible response. But the AI does. And if I give it permission to ask me questions and I haven't given it enough background, it'll then ask me those questions. I can answer, and I'll get a much, much better response out of it.
See, Tom,
does that make sense?
It does. And I love that answer, because for me, that's why I had a double take back into AI, right? When I first used it, I was like, give me a recipe on potato soup. And then it just, it vomited something out of it. This ain't gasoline. And, you're upset. But then when I learned how to teach it and ask it questions, thanks, Tom, for bringing me back to AI. I think that was great. I think that example is the embodiment of what, like average Joes or whatever you want to say right now, is struggles with prompts. And I don't even think, and Jonathan, you did a great job selling it, but I think you could even go bigger in the fact that if you don't know how to write a prompt in an AI software, you are literally wasting your time.
Absolutely. And your example there is really good, William. You ask it to, give me a recipe for potato soup. You're likely to get a recipe for vomit as much as you are a recipe for potato soup.
Thank you.
But if on the other hand, I say, you're an award-winning soup, chef.
Yes. Come on, Jonathan, take us home.
I need a recipe for the most amazing potato soup. Please create this recipe and make sure to include garlic and ham, because I want both of those in my potato soup.
Yes.
And then, oh, by the way, ask me any clarifying questions you need before giving me the best possible recipe. Now I'm going to get one kick butt potato soup recipe.
Yeah. Award-winning potato soup recipe.
Exactly.
But Tom, before you ask your question, but that's so impactful with the response that you got. Tom, I mentioned this on another panel. Like as I said, I've saved close to $1 million a year. It's because individuals like you guys brought the regular guys back and adjusted simply how we asked it questions. I thank you for that, Jonathan. That was a very selfish question of mine, but thank you.
That was a good one. No, that's good.
Great question, William. So I saw you posted yesterday, or maybe it was today. I lose track of my time here. Claude versus ChatGPT. That was a really interesting post that you put out there, and I would like to hear your thoughts on clarifying, I guess, why Claude is better than ChatGPT.
Well, I don't want to say definitively it is, but just yesterday afternoon, Claude released a brand new model. For those that are listening that may not go, what the heck is Claude? Claude is one of the major competitors to ChatGPT. There's really 4 major large language models, and if you're not named, I apologize in advance. But there's ChatGPT that everybody's heard about. There's Google Gemini that we're not going to talk about because it only works kind of well. Then there's Claude by a company named Anthropic. You've never heard of them, but you've heard of everybody who's invested in them. And then there's Meta's product called Llama. Those are really the 4 main models. ChatGPT is the big one. It's one everybody knows about. Yesterday, Claude released a brand new model called 3.5 Sonnet. You don't need to remember the name. But I believe, based on the testing I've done in the last 24 hours, it may actually be better than ChatGPT 4.0, which is their most current model. It's fast, it's incredibly in-depth, and they've added some new features to it that I think are going to become commonplace in AI. And one of those is the fact, and I forget the name for it because it just came out yesterday, but one of those is the ability that when you ask it to like write something, it actually opens a separate window and shows you what it's doing as it's happening so that you can stop and make changes in the middle of that prompt and update it and tell it to do different things. So there's some really cool features that are out. I'm not ready to say it's better because I still think it depends on where you start. And if you're brand new to AI, I'm still going to recommend you start with ChatGPT, not Claude, because it has some more features. But if you're serious about prompting and you want the best potato soup recipe, William, I'm going to bet that Claude's going to give it to you today as opposed to ChatGPT.
I could listen to Jonathan narrate a book. I like the way
Thank you.
He's got a great voice. He does.
I got a face for radio to go right along with it.
So I've seen some of your artwork you've posted.
Yeah,
they look 3D. They are 3D. How do you create? So what software do you use, or what prompts do you use to generate that kind of image?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Tom, you're a part of my group. Like you said, we got about 125,000 members in there. It's probably the second most common question I get asked is how to do the image. The only one that probably get asked more is how do I use AI to make money and not do anything? So yeah, exactly. We can laugh at that because they forget the serve people and do the do work part. But anyway, I use Midjourney to create all those images. I think that Midjourney is the best of the tools out there right now, and I like 3D cartoon style images. It's just kind of become something that's my style. Now the prompt is incredibly difficult. I think it might be 10 words. So let me read it to you exactly because I actually have it saved because I use it all the time. And here it is. 3D cartoon animation of, and then there's a variable, a subject or character. So a potato soup chef in a location or setting, so in a kitchen, inspired by Disney and Pixar animation. So it's literally 3D cartoon animation of a chef in a kitchen inspired by Disney and Pixar animation.
Can you do that live?
If I can share my screen, sure.
Tom, how amazing! Like potato.
Can I do that, Tom, or not?
You want to talk about in real time?
So if you hit the present button at the bottom, and then
no problem.
Pop up. Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm going to start my Discord a minute, which is how Midjourney runs. It's a little bit of a weird app. So let me get that up here before I share my screen and do that. And people will see I've been actually doing some prompts on others. So let's nothing like being live and trying to see how we do it. Right, here we go. So present.
Tom, you don't often get like a one-on-one
screen.
training with Gandalf. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
William, I'm so glad you stuck around. That's all I got to say. Just plain and simple.
Dude, I right. Because I want this photo and I want you to sign it and I'll pay you for it. That's what I'll do.
All right, here we go. So I've been playing around with it. So this is Midjourney. Midjourney runs in something called Discord. We don't have time to explain why, but it works. So I have to start with what's called an imagine command, not a band user. That's wrong. Imagine. There we go. So 3D cartoon animation of a chef in a kitchen inspired by Disney and Pixar animation.
This is real time, folks.
So it's going to, now what the way Midjourney works, it's going to create 4 images and then we can make them bigger. So it takes a little bit of time. You can see over here, it's counting, it's at 10%, 15%. So this will take probably a minute and it's going to generate 4 images. We can then use any one of those. I like Midjourney, one, because of the style. The other reason I like it is simply because of the fact that it has a great licensing model. There's one downside. If you're watching, Midjourney is an absolute pay-to-play app. You can't use it for free. They don't even have a free option. So let's take a look here. And William, you get to pick the one you like. When it's done, we're just about there. There we go. So there's our 4 options it came up with. Which one's your favorite? Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right?
I'm blown away. It took him 10 seconds.
William being speechless is a rare occurrence, as rare as an eclipse. So well done.
I'll tell you what, let's do this for everybody watching. We'll give a bonus here. I'm going to go ahead. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and expand each one of these. I'll save them and then we'll post them if we can, Tom, on your group or something like that so that everybody can get access. So I'm just going to save this real quick.
Tommy did this in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah. Isn't this incredible?
I have a full marketing team on salary.
So here I got to say, that's one of my favorites right there. I love that.
That is my favorite. Please.
That's just so cool.
It's so 3D. That's amazing.
Super, super easy. Let me exit out of here. I don't know exactly where I got here a minute.
Hold on 1 second. I'm typing email. Dear marketing team.
There we go. Yeah, I called Jonathan on Monday, right?
Yes.
So again, that easy though. And now I've got those images. This one's not bad either. You know, I can use these anywhere I want. And if I like it, what's a really cool thing is, William, if I like it and I go, you know, that was pretty cool, but I want 4 more, I just go ahead and click redo, and it's now going to create 4 more images that'll all be unique because every image or AI image generator has a degree of randomness built in. So it's going to create some randomness. They're not all going to look alike. And we'll wait here just a minute and we'll have another batch. And again, you'll see how easy that is. You can change not the resolution, but you can change the aspect ratio. So I'm doing a tall image here. I could do a wide one like your widescreen TV or your computer monitor. I could do square. I can do anything I want there to do that. And for the most part, hopefully, these aren't going to be too wacky. So let's just take a look here at what we've got. Again, not bad here. I'm not so sure about the scarf or towel around this guy's neck, but, you know, maybe he's hot and sweaty. I don't know. But again, 4 more images just that quick. Super simple.
Now, Jonathan, for like the average Joe, like that we're talking about here, when you say pay to play, like again, I just mentioned I have a full marketing team on staff with an official salary, right? What are we talking? So for everyone else that's thinking that gets $500 a photo, what are we really talking? What did you just spend?
I didn't spend anything. I pay $30 a month, and I essentially get unlimited usage. It's not unlimited, but I create thousands of images a month, and I've never capped out. So for $30 a month.
And Tom, really to take back my first question, here's where I'm taking it home. Barry Bonds' home run here is at the beginning of this. He talked about using AI for prompts that we talked about our inexperience. And we watched him take a 10-second rapid type and make probably one of the most beautiful pieces of art on a joke that I made 5 minutes ago about potato soup. He turned it into reality. AI is way beyond what I thought.
But imagine you've got a restaurant and you want to put some artwork up. You do those, you send them off to get them printed on a piece of metal for $75 a piece. And for $300, you've now got pieces of art to put on your wall.
100%. And I'm sure that was something you just whipped together. I'm sure some of the prompts that you've put together on something like that have been immaculate. I'd love to see some of your art. I asked someone to share me the page, but I'd love to dive into that.
We'll make sure we get you a link to it. Not a problem. So, but yeah, so no, I mean, and that's why I'm passionate about prompting, because I believe, and as business people, it's important that we get it. But what's even more important is that we teach our teams how to use it. Because if our teams know how to do this, one, they're going to find opportunities that we don't see. Because if you're running the business, you're not going to see every opportunity that comes up. When you teach your team how to do it, one, you're going to make their job more enjoyable. They're going to have more fun. They're going to deliver more value. Ultimately, they're going to get more done for you without you having to pay any more in the process. And here's the best part. While we do all that, we can now deliver more value to our clients. Imagine if I'm a marketing agency, which I happen to be at this point, and, William, I'll send you those photos. So I'm going to send those to you. It didn't cost me anything other than a little bit of time. Am I now ingratiating myself and building rapport with you? Absolutely I am. And it was easy to do. And my team now, because they're going to have extra time, can do things like that for my clients and prospects and help me grow my business. And everybody wins across the board.
The cool part about this is, as you see my eyes wander, it's because I have individuals on my team that I'm literally directing to here. Forgive the free take, but Tom also doesn't charge for this event. And the feedback that I'm getting in real time right now is right here is $30 for that. That is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I figured you would pay somebody a commissioned rate at $200 a photo. How impressive. That came from my supervisor of marketing. Not a problem.
I'll make you a great deal, William. We'll do $100 a piece, $800. They're all yours, and I'll sign them.
please bill my mentor HQ right away. We'll get you the invoice.
That was great.
Oh,
I'm so glad I invited you. For all the audience who are watching either live or after this event is complete, Jonathan Mast, his group is AI //ChatGPT prompts for entrepreneurs. So if you were to type in AI ChatGPT prompts for entrepreneurs, that will it should pop up. You should be able to locate and find it. William, I just sent you an invite, so you should have that in your Facebook invite right now. So, for a small business who is just getting off the ground, started yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They're still developing their business identity. How would you go about recommending they do that?
Great question. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to ChatGPT or Claude, doesn't matter. And I'm going to say, I need you to act as a startup business consultant. And I'm going to then tell it, here's my business, here's my concept, here's who I plan to serve, here's how I plan to make their life better. I need to develop a brand that's going to represent me, but also resonate with my target audience. Interview me. Literally, I'm going to say, interview me and ask me the questions you need to help me develop that brand, including the things to recommend colors, to recommend logo styles, to recommend mission statements, to recommend values, and ultimately to help me identify my key target audiences so that we can in the future develop marketing campaigns to reach out to them. And that'll probably take 20 minutes and we'll be done. And we're going to have all of that completed in well under an hour.
That is an amazing piece of advice. So ChatGPT, it learns, you can train it. How do you set up a custom ChatGPT and you train it, or would you rather just ask the same, I guess, be it more non-trained?
So ChatGPT has a unique feature called a custom GPT where you can actually upload your data and you can train it. As you get used to it, I think it's a great feature, but I think most people think it's cooler than it is. In other words, it's kind of like, ooh, I've got to build a custom GPT. Don't feel you have to go there right away, because every user on ChatGPT also gets something called custom instructions. And it's 2 bits of information. One, you get to tell ChatGPT, what do you want ChatGPT to know about you? And that's important. So I put in things like my personality type, my name, my phone number, my email, things that I want it to be able to know and use so that as it's creating content, it can include that in that. The next thing is, how do you want ChatGPT to respond to you? So I give it advice, telling it to act like an expert in whatever area we're discussing, giving it, again, advice on the tone, the style, the way I want it to respond to me. Just by completing those 2, and by the way, if you're not sure what to put in those, just like I said for the business startup, tell ChatGPT to interview you and ask you the questions necessary so that it can give you the content to put in those 2 custom instruction boxes. And ChatGPT will literally interview you and ask you those questions and then write what you need to put in those custom instructions based upon the information you've provided. So Tom, it's going to put in different custom instructions for you than it does for me. And William, it's going to do something different for you than it will for me, because we're going to answer those questions differently. That's one of the big benefits, because now ChatGPT knows that. And so when I ask it to write an email to William talking about the new commission that I want for artwork for his business, it's going to automatically know what my name is, my phone number, my email, my website, all of that information. It's going to just include that automatically. I don't have to figure that out later.
Yeah. Well, Tom, hold on. Wait. I'm stealing you again. I did this. I did this in real time. My screen is doing me some lack of service. It looked like I was texting over here. I wouldn't disrespect you like that, Gandalf.
Oh, you're good.
Now, I wrote in here, I said, acting as a world-class prompt writer who is starting a new company today, create me a business plan to drive $100,000 in gross revenue using Midjourney for art projects. And then I took your advice. Ask any questions needed before starting to be sure you understand.
Yep.
This took me through the ringer, and I won't tell you all the questions it asked me. I have the most comprehensive, detailed battle strategy over the next 90 days, encouraging me to charge $200 per project, targeting my market. I don't know what NFT art is, but I'm sure it costs money. And holy crap. Tom, I changed my answer earlier on what I wish I knew 6 months ago.
Yeah. So let me, William, you took my breath away. I couldn't, you took my answer away. I couldn't, I forgot my answer, my question here. So, I forgot my question. Oh, the question is how you can train ChatGPT. Are you able to train other LLMs like Claude and other? Are you able to train those models?
Not in the same manner. So ChatGPT is the only one with custom instructions, and it's the only one that allows you on its platform to create a custom GPT where you upload, for example, let's say as an HR manager, so William, you want to make sure your entire team has your employee manual. You already have it to them as a 3-ring binder. They've all signed, they've read it, and you and I both know none of them have read it. And that's why they come and ask questions every time they want to know when they can take vacation. But you could literally upload your employee manual with all your HR policies, all your vacation policies, everything else to ChatGPT as a private custom GPT, give access to your staff, and next time they want to know what your bereavement policy is because their dog's aunt's cousin died, they can go in and they can look it up and find out that, I'm sorry, you don't get paid time off because your dog's, cat's, uncle's, whatever died. It doesn't work that way. But if it happened to be your parent or your sibling or your grandparent, and you haven't had too many of them pass away in the last 6 months, then yes, you'll get paid time off. And so you can have all of that in there. And that's really where the value of a custom GPT comes at, because once you train that in this example, William, you don't have to upload that time and time again. It's just there. The other models work best on what I call prompt commands or snippets. It's literally where we take a bit of information and I save them in my clipboard and I just use them repeatedly. One is my tone and style. I can paste that into ChatGPT. I can paste that into Claude, to Gemini, any model, and it then knows, because I've saved that, my personality type, the things that I value, and therefore it's going to create responses that sound more like me.
And I would also say that you can upload literature, books,
oh, yeah.
And you can train your model to almost answer after it reviews the book.
Yeah, imagine being able to upload a 300-page PDF report that we all get excited about and then we never read because we don't have time. And being able to upload that and then start asking questions of the PDF report, and ChatGPT or Claude will respond back to us and tell us, on page 17, it referred to this. And oh, by the way, it'll scan that 300-page PDF in about 12 to 30 seconds, somewhere in that range. And it will literally know every word and where to find it.
It is absolutely amazing. The one drawback I've heard with ChatGPT is it's open, the security of it. Don't upload any
Correct.
personal information. Sensitive information, if you're looking at insurance claims, or if you're in the medical profession or a finance profession, you can't upload sensitive data, client and customer data. That's from what I heard that's the case. But I've
It is
also
definitely
heard,
not HIPAA compliant. That's true.
so I've also heard that Microsoft Copilot is or can be in a more secure environment, so you are able to do that. Are you familiar with those two different models in the security aspect?
Somewhat. I'm familiar with the claims, and I guess it depends. You know, Tom, you heard me in my discussion earlier with Christian, so you know I'm a bit, I don't want to say sarcastic, but, you know, yeah. Anyway, I assume the NSA knows right now exactly where I'm sitting within about 2 feet. It knows exactly that both of you guys we're streaming on StreamYard and what we're talking about and everything else. So at the end of the day, am I really worried if ChatGPT knows my name and my address? No, I'm not. I'm not. It's part of life. I'm not worried that data is going to be released to somebody else. What they will likely use it for is training data. So in other words, they're likely going to train their model off that data in order to help improve it. I don't think we're going to see a time when they're actually regurgitating that content out to others, because then they're going to get sued, like you and I both know, to 3 sides from Sunday. So I don't think that's likely to happen. But if you want to be secure, there's a simple solution. There are a number of open source downloadable AI models that you can literally download to your computer and run. They're not quite as robust, but they're still pretty darn good. And if you need to analyze, like, for example, medical data or whatever, you can download that, run that on your server, make sure it's not connected to the internet. And now you can analyze all that data because it's never actually leaving your network. It's staying right there. And that large language model, as we call it, isn't sending anything back to the cloud.
So what are some of those softwares called, or how would you search and find that software to download?
I'd literally just go out to perplexity.com. Notice I didn't say google.com. I'd go to Perplexity, my favorite AI search engine, and I'd say I'm looking for downloadable open source large language models. And it would then give me a link. Most of those would probably go to a site called huggingface.com. It's a really weird sounding site, but they're huge into AI. They've got lots of open source software. And just if you're not familiar, open source software typically doesn't require that you pay for it, and you actually get control of the source code so you can do anything with it you want. And as long as, again, you get a model that can run locally on your computer. And if you're worried, just make sure that computer doesn't have an internet connection. It's only connected to your network, and it can't upload anything then to the cloud or to anybody else.
Yeah, I think that the huggingface.co is the website. It's a great website. There's a lot of junk, and there's a lot of you'll find that diamond in the rough that's just amazing.
Correct.
I do know that you have to sort through a lot of those different models, and you have to click on it, let it run, like, oh, nope, next. You spend a lot of that, but you do find some gems in that huggingface.co. It's a great piece of advice. Thank you for that. We are almost up for the day. I want to go and start to recap here in about 5-10 minutes here. But is there, what's the one piece of advice that you would leave the audience with that would make the biggest difference in their life?
Don't be afraid of AI, whether you're a business person or an employee or anybody. Embrace it. The only fear you need about AI is your competitor who decides to use it before you do. That's it. If you embrace AI and use it, you can get all the benefits out of it. It is nothing to be afraid of. It is a tremendous tool that will amplify your skill, your experience, and your knowledge, and help you deliver more value, make more money, and candidly create a better work environment for you and your team.
I appreciate that. William, I know that you were floored at the 3D animation, but any last questions for Mr. Mast?
I mean, yeah, plenty. But for starters, I don't really have a question, but more of a statement. And I love, Tom, that you continue to invite me to these, because I feel like sometimes I'm the black sheep, because some of you guys are so smart with your AI, and so really the only thing I would say to you, somebody like a Jonathan, is that entrepreneurs are in a constant state of yearning for knowledge, but fear of the unknown. And as you notice, when I commandeered it and took Tom's question away from him and made him not look as good as me, is I was pulling in simple information from Jonathan so that I could get to the source of what I needed simply. And what that allowed me to do was to embrace AI on a level that I could understand. So my only question and statement that I would put out there for not Jonathan but for everybody is the golden rule that my father used to tell me is, if you don't know, ask. And Jonathan gave me information tonight in this 25 minutes that I'm going to implement across the country of offices in my business, that we're going to leverage AI to a whole different capacity just by simply asking ChatGPT a few more questions.
I love that.
Thanks, Tom, for inviting me. Thanks, Jonathan, for teaching me. I look forward to being a student more in the future. And thanks for letting me take over this meeting. It needed some pizzazz, so I'm glad I could be here.
It was great to meet you, and I'm glad you joined us.
Thank you.
William, thank you. Jonathan, it has been a pleasure. You've been on quite a few times today. Thank you so much for your time, your generosity of your thoughts and experience. It's been a pleasure, sir.
Well, thanks for having me. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Take care.